The Federal Court System, Edmodo Lesson 8. There are two separate court systems in our country, state and federal. The Constitution created the federal court system, and Congress created the lower courts. Jurisdiction, which means to say the law, is the authority of a court to hear and decide a case. The Constitution gives the federal courts two means by which jurisdiction is based: subject matter and parties involved. There are four types of jurisdictions. Exclusive jurisdiction is cases that can only be heard by a federal court. Some examples are copyright, patents, and federal crimes. Concurrent jurisdiction is power shared between state and federal courts. Now, remember concurrent powers. They happen at the same time. So here we've got power shared at the same time between state and federal courts. That means cases that have to do with things like diverse citizenship could be heard at either level. Original jurisdiction is the first time a case is heard. And then appellate jurisdiction is when a court hears a case based on an appeal from a lower court. That court may choose to uphold, overrule, or modify a decision. Let's talk about federal judges. Federal judges are important people because they serve for life. The President appoints all federal judges. The Senate approves those appointments. These judges serve for life until they resign, retire, die, or are impeached. Now, let's talk about how much these federal judges make. As you can see here, salary is set by Congress and can range anywhere from $149,000 to over $200,000 per year. You can see the Chief Justice, who is like the leader of the Supreme Court, makes over $200,000 a year. Associate justices make less than that. Judges may retire at age 70 if they have served 10 years, or at age 65 if they have served 15 years. Let's talk about the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court can have both original and appellate jurisdiction. That is, they can hear cases that are heard for the very first time, or other cases that are there on appellate review, and that is that they are reviewing a case that was heard by a lower court, and they may decide to overrule or uphold that decision. There is one Chief Justice and 8 Associate Justices. The Chief Justice is the leader of the justices, and judges and justices are the same thing, but when you get to the Supreme Court, we change that term from judge to justice. There are many cases that are petitioned to the Supreme Court every year, and less than 100 are actually heard. Most cases do come from appeal from a lower court. Original jurisdiction comes when a state is a party or matters affect ambassadors and cases involving interpretation of the Constitution. A term for the Supreme Court runs from October to October. This is Edmodo Lesson 8.